This used to be idyllic, a spot for those with busy lives to escape. Now, it's a graveyard.
Florida's red tide continues to kill marine life, leaving many residents to clean up the mess. The toxic algae bloom has prompted a state of emergency in Florida.
It's a phrase many businesses do not even like to say. Red tide.
A 1,700-foot device resembling a closed meshed net was dropped into Tampa Bay today, off St. Petersburg, Florida, in an attempt to keep millions of dead fish and other marine life from floating farther into the bay. They were killed by billions of microorganisms known as the red tide.
Red tide, a toxic algal bloom, is killing wildlife, threatening human health, closing beaches, and hurting local economies. But is it nature-made? Some cruel attempt at leveling the scales against humans by Mother Nature? Or is it made by those very people seeing these gigantic blooms? We are a part of the cause and the solution. In the next 5 minutes, we'll uncover what is driving the red tide, the devastating impact it leaves on communities, and how we can stop it before the tide turns any further.
The red tide is caused by harmful algal blooms, or HABs. Not all algal blooms are dangerous, but some types, like the Carenia brevis algae in the Gulf of Mexico, produce toxins that can harm marine life, birds, and even humans. So how does this happen? Algae naturally live in the water, but warm temperatures, calm seas, sunlight, and nutrient boosts, like those that occur when farming fertilizer is put into the water, create the perfect environment for blooms to thrive. The neurotoxins released from these massive blooms are found in the water. When aquatic life is exposed to the neurotoxins, it can lead to large fish kills and negative health impacts and death for a wide variety of sea creatures. Human health is also severely impacted by the red tide. When the neurotoxins are released into the air, they can impact the respiratory system and cause breathing issues and eye irritation. And when humans consume shellfish or other seafood poisoned by the red tide, they can become extremely sick and in some rare cases, even die. The negative impacts from the red tide can lead to scarcity in those areas impacted by it, which leads to a worsening of local economies. No tourism during peak season could set back an oceanside community's economy in extreme amounts. During a particularly bad bloom cycle in 2018, studies found that almost $200 million were lost in the tourism sector alone along the Gulf of Mexico.
One of the latest and most novel solutions to our problem is the utilization of clay treatments. Inspired by techniques used to fight red tide in South Korea, this is the action of spraying fine clay particles into areas that are experiencing blooms. The algae attaches to the clay and sinks to the seafloor as the clay lumps together. Once the clay hits the seafloor, the algae will die due to the weight of the clay and the lack of sunlight. This clay solution is especially effective because it is an environmentally friendly solution and will be able to remove toxins from those areas and breathe life back into the waters that have been affected. Now, that being said, not everything is going to be solved by spraying clay into the water, and there are ways that you, the viewer, can help fight.
So, how can you help? Some things you can do are joining a local cleanup crew to help keep our beaches and waterways clean. Simply removing trash not only protects wildlife, but also prevents harmful pollutants from entering the water. You can also support legislation like Bill HB 73, which is the Safe Waterways Act, and the Protecting of Local Communities from Harmful Algal Blooms Act. Every small action, like helping with beach cleanup, makes a big difference. Yes, we know things might seem drab, but keep your head up. The more you can do your part and make sure you spread the word about the red tide, the closer we are to making sure both the humans and the sea creatures can utilize the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. If you are curious to find more information, you can go to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and the Mote Marine Laboratory and Aquarium, and the Florida Department of Health. Thank you.